Before we get into today's story, if you have any story suggestions for future videos, please let me know in the comments section. High above the rugged terrains of the Andes Mountains, a tale unfolded on October 13, 1972, which would remain etched in human history. A chartered twin-engine plane filled with young, vibrant members of a Uruguayan rugby team faced an unforeseen predicament. A joyous journey suddenly took a horrifying turn. Laughter and excited chatter were common sounds inside the aircraft until unsettling turbulence disrupted the mood. As the plane shuddered and dropped altitude, the once cheerful ambiance turned to one of worry and apprehension. Panchito Abal, amidst the chaos, turned to his friend, Nando Parado, asking, "Is it normal to fly so close?" But before Parado could even muster an answer, everything went dark. When Parado's eyes flickered open 2 days after the catastrophic crash, he was met with a chilling sight. The surroundings were unrecognizable. An endless stretch of white, snow-covered peaks extended in every direction. The once soaring plane now lay broken and defeated, its remnants scattered across the Andean mountains. The immediate aftermath of the crash was devastating, with a considerable number of passengers losing their lives on impact. The following hours, eerie and silent, saw more souls depart due to their severe injuries. From a group of 45, only 29 held on, each heartbeat echoing a plea to survive in the harsh terrain. As days progressed, the cold became their constant companion. Sunrises, instead of bringing warmth, often heightened their despair. Their attempts at survival were rudimentary, yet essential. Fragments from the broken plane were repurposed to melt the snow, providing them with drinking water. But while they could quench their thirst, hunger pangs grew more pronounced with every passing day, their food supplies dwindling fast. To the outside world, their miraculous survival became an emblem of human resilience, earning the title of the Miracle of the Andes. This title bore a heavy weight, conjuring both admiration and incredulity. But behind this label of miracle was an agonizing truth of despair, choices and sacrifices that were beyond the comprehension of many. The shadow of a decision no one ever wants to confront soon casts itself upon a huddled group. As days turned to nights and nights back to days, the ravages of the cold and the unending pain of hunger began taking their toll. It wasn't just a physical pain, the constant reminder of their situation gnawed at their minds as well. Amidst the echoing silence of the mountains, a whispered conversation began to circulate among the survivors. The topic was one that would challenge the very essence of their humanity: cannibalism. The moral dimensions of such a decision were vast and deep. For many, it meant questioning their religious beliefs, understanding right and wrong, and even their very identities. How does one reconcile with consuming the remains of comrades, friends, or even family? The same idea was horrifying, sending shivers down spines, chilled by the relentless cold. However, the looming presence of death, coupled with a primal drive that pulses with every living being, the innate desire to survive, gradually started tipping the scales. These desolate, imposing Andean mountains, standing tall and emotionless, became the silent observers of humanity's most desperate acts. They stood as silent sentinels, watching over a group pushed beyond the conceivable boundaries of endurance and bearing witness to the harrowing choices they made. In the midst of their gloomy predicament, a flicker of hope emerged, as elusive as it was unexpected. A shard of metal reflecting the weak sun rays drew attention to a transistor radio amidst the scattered remnants of the plane. Eager hands, shaking from both cold and anticipation, hurried to power it on. The static buzz of the radio brought with it an expectation of comforting words, maybe news of a search party nearing them or plans for a rescue operation. But the reality, often more brutal than one's worst fears, delivered another cruel blow. Through the static and interference, the words that reached them were a grim pronouncement of abandonment. The world had moved on, accepting their tragic fate, marking them as casualties of a doomed flight. This realization was like a dagger to their already fragile hearts. Knowing they were considered lost, with no hopes of being found, was a thought harder to digest than the biting cold. However, the indomitable human spirit is known for its resilience, especially when the chips are down. For every challenge thrown its way, it responds with double the vigor. Despite the devastating news, the group chose not to surrender to despair. Instead, they drew from their shared pain and decided they wouldn't let this be their end. If the world had given up on them, they hadn't given up on themselves. They would carve their path to safety, come what may. But nature, it seemed, had more trials in store. A fierce and unyielding avalanche crashed upon them, taking more lives and submerging their makeshift shelter under a thick blanket of snow. Time, already a luxury, became even more precious. Recognizing the urgency, Parado and a group of survivors took the initiative. They set out to brave the treacherous terrains, charting a course through the mountain's heart. Their outfits, cobbled together from the plane's remnants, included sunglasses made from cockpit shards and boots improvised from cushions. Every step on the perilous journey was a confrontation with nature's wrath. The freezing winds chafed their skin, and the high altitude made each breath strenuous. What followed seemed like an eternity. Each day's progress was hard-fought, their energy reserves dwindling. However, as the edge of despair loomed, tiny signs began to appear. An old soup can, a trail left by cattle, and finally, the most heartening sight of all, a local on horseback. Through a combination of gestures, mimed actions, and broken words, they relayed their harrowing tale. Then, a sound they had longed for, helicopter blades cutting through the Andean air. The rescue had finally come. Word spread like wildfire, and the world, which had mourned them, now watched in astonishment. The resilience of the rugby team surviving a harrowing 72 days became a testament to human endurance, hope, and the unyielding desire to live. Recovering in San Fernando, Chile hospital, the survivors were treated and cared for. When Parado saw his reflection, he was shocked at the skeletal figure staring back. But in his heart, gratitude swelled. Each breath he took was a testament to human willpower and resilience. Whispering to himself, he said, "I'm alive. I'm alive." It was a simple sentiment, but held a universe of meaning. The story of the Andes survivors isn't just about a crash. It's about the indomitable spirit of humans, perseverance, hope, and the lengths people will go to cling to life. It's a stark reminder of the fragility and value of life, and the strength that can emerge even in the face of unimaginable adversity. Want to see more scary stories? Leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned for more spooky tales.